All right, guys, welcome to Beyond the Muscle. I'm really excited to welcome our next guest, Monique Collman. So, Monique is a DFAC Pro Figure World Champion and PCA Pro, and she's made a huge impact since starting natural bodybuilding in 2021. So, yeah, it's really good to have you on the show, Monique. How are things going?
Yeah, good. Thanks for inviting me on.
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I'm excited to get stuck into this chat. So yeah, going back to your 2024 season, obviously your list of accomplishments are pretty crazy. Yeah, you basically
Yeah,
cleaned up. I have a list of them here. So yeah, PCA Manchester, you started. You were athletic figure and overall champion. BNBF
yeah,
finals, figure champion and overall again. Then you competed as a pro with the DFAC and another overall champion as well with them. And then with the PCA, he won the open figure and another overall and another pro card. So yeah, honestly, like an incredible season. Yeah, based purely
yeah.
on your list of accomplishments, like couldn't have gone any better. But what were your kind of highlights of the year for you, Monique?
Yeah. My goal for that entire kind of prep was that BNBF figure win or to defend it because I'd won it before in 2022. So I was just keen to win it again. And when I went into an off season, that was the goal, was BNBF figure. I was actually going to do PCA bikini trained because that's kind of what I'd done in 2022. And then, well, 7 weeks out from BNBF, my coach was like, "You're athletic figure." It's like,
Right,
"No, I'm not. I'm tone figure." He's like,
right.
"Give it a try. Just come up, give it a whirl, and see how you get on." And then obviously I did quite well there. So then it was like, okay, maybe I am athletic figure. But my highlight was that BNBF win. It really meant a lot to me because
Mm,
in 2022 when I won that title, that was kind of my first go at figure. And
right.
then, they do the round the table and they kind of give feedback and,
Yeah.
they were really complimentary. And Vicky was like, um, you know, she's born to do figure. And it just kind of really motivated me to kind of try and realize that potential. So
Mm,
I was just really gunning to go back and kind of prove her right that, that belief that they had in me was worth it. So
yeah.
that really meant a lot to me,
Yeah.
that win.
Oh, that's
Mhm.
uh, that's really nice. That is. In terms of the difference, so it's athletic figure. What was the other one? The other thing?
Bikini trained.
It was bikini train. Yeah. So that's in
Yeah.
terms of the difference there. That's a less muscled look compared to figure. Is that right?
Well, supposedly, to be honest, I don't even know what bikini change is supposed to be. It's kind of either more muscle or more condition.
Right.
So for people that are just a bit too developed or too conditioned for bikini, they kind of get lumped in there. And I think it's kind of almost meant to be a bit of a holding ground, really.
Hmm.
So that you stay in there for a couple of years and then you're meant to grow out into athletic figure.
I
So
see.
that's how I kind of view it. Or if you don't have the figure shape, then maybe you're just come in less conditioned and do bikini.
Right.
I don't
Right.
know. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Interesting.
I
Yeah.
mean,
So
there's
many
bikini
classes.
trained girls that are bigger than me. So
Right. Right.
yeah,
So they still have bikini and then bikini trained as two separate categories. Oh wow. So there is
yeah,
a in
yeah,
between.
yeah. It's I guess it's kind of like a step up in condition or
Yeah.
muscular.
Yeah. That makes sense. And there's lots of categories now. Have you ever thought about doing bodybuilding at all? You don't think that would suit you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. Because I think that's my next goal.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm going to try bodybuilding.
Oh.
I think in the next couple of years for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to
Amazing.
see how I get on.
Mm.
Yeah, I like doing a routine, and I like that in bodybuilding you get to do a bit of a routine. Um, and it just just to try and push for that level of muscularity.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's really cool. Yeah, because I didn't know. I admit to being a bit clueless when it comes to the female side of bodybuilding. Although I am learning more. I've had a few female guests
Yeah,
on, and obviously I've watched shows, so I am understanding a bit more about it now. But from chatting to Becky, who won the Southern and the British last year with the BNBF,
yeah,
like the poses are much more like the male poses, aren't they? So they do our poses
yeah,
essentially, and they don't wear the
exactly.
heels, obviously. So that's a few differences there. Would you change your training at all to do that?
I don't think so.
No.
I'm already training 5 days a week, 2 hours. I don't think I could. I don't want
Hmm.
to increase it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think just maybe it's just being longer in an off season
Yeah, yeah.
more than anything.
Oh, yeah,
Um,
makes sense.
but yeah, actually, Becky's one of the reasons I want to try it because
Really?
she's just like
Mm,
so feminine, so muscular, just gorgeous, and like I hadn't really seen a bodybuilder like her before until I'd seen her and then went to the Worlds and saw the bodybuilding category and all the competitors there,
Hmm.
and they're just gorgeous and
Mm.
but strong, but still, yeah. So yeah, that's kind of what opened up my eyes to that category.
Yeah, now that's really cool. Yeah, that'd be amazing to see you in that. And you're right that they do strike that balance really, really well there. I spoke
Yeah,
to Zena. She was on the podcast recently as well. I didn't know this, but she did bodybuilding as well. She did a
yeah,
bit of
me
both. And
too. Yeah,
yeah, she
yeah,
said it was interesting looking at the stage shots and seeing how different she looked in both with the different poses. So that'd
yeah.
be a fun challenge for you.
That's the thing. I think females, we're quite lucky because we can kind of float a bit more between
Mm.
categories.
Yeah, yeah,
Whereas with guys, you're kind of pigeonholed, aren't you, really?
yeah.
You can't really, whereas we get to play around a bit, which is
That's
cool.
true. That's true. Because it's classic now, which is getting really popular. It's funny looking at the BNBF, the Southern and the Midlands, like, and any show, there seems to be so many more classic or guys doing classic these days. So there is that. So that's another one I could potentially think of, but I don't think I will. I'm just too old school to do classic, I think. Even though it's kind of an old school thing, yeah,
Yeah.
it's another thing to learn. And then you've got other categories. But even with female bodybuilding, there's like wellness. Is that quite a new category? I think
Yeah,
wellness
I think
is a
so.
thing.
Last few years, yeah. I
Mm,
can be honest. Legs for 3, 4 times a week.
yeah, yeah.
Not for me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, it's good. I think it's certainly with the female side of things. I think it's good that there are a lot of different categories that cater for just different body shapes, different structures. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think it's probably a good thing.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Um, so yeah, I've talked about this topic before on the podcast, and it's the topic of like having other interests outside of bodybuilding. So I feel the
yeah,
best bodybuilders are people who have like more going on than what just bodybuilding itself. And what makes
yeah,
your achievements even more incredible is that, like myself, like you're a parent. You know, you've got
yeah,
4 kids, and obviously
yeah.
balancing being a parent with
Mm,
bodybuilding certainly brings like unique challenges for sure. So yeah, last year
yeah,
I did my first prep with kids. I did 5 shows. My kids came to 4 of them. But zooming out to the actual prep itself, like yeah, there was definitely some guilt involved. I wasn't fully myself, and yeah, it was just
yeah,
a lack of energy in playing with the kids that I aim to do a lot better at next time.
yeah,
What have been your biggest challenges of balancing like being a mum and doing a contest prep?
yeah. I think you hit the nail on the head. It's just the irritability.
Yeah, yeah,
And so mine are quite close in age, so they're all aged 7 to 10, 7 almost 8 to 10,
yeah.
right? So they bicker a lot because they have similar interests at a similar age. Oh God, they argue so much. But yeah, so it's just getting really irritable when they're being, in my opinion, quite irrational and petty.
Yeah.
That was the hardest thing, just having patience. But I'm pretty routine driven. I thrive in a routine. So um, like I train in the evening when they go to sleep, and I do my cardio first thing. So
Mm,
it's just um, kind of yeah, just following quite a strict routine.
mm.
And they, unfortunately for them, they eat the same as me. Like my son was like, "Why is it chicken and rice again?"
Oh no, right, right, yeah, yeah, yeah,
For dinners, they get like they pretty much eat a bodybuilder's diet, but they
yeah,
might
yeah,
get nice like on top for dessert and like snacks and stuff.
yeah.
So, but yeah, no, it is hard. But like I said, I think because of the life stage that I'm at,
Mhm.
I don't think I have the challenge maybe that some other younger athletes have in that I don't have to, I'm never negotiating going out with friends because I'm not going to go out with friends on the weekend. I'm just not in that stage of life. I'm already going to be in having a boring evening.
Mm, yeah,
So I don't feel like I'm sacrificing the social side.
yeah,
I can't have a social life with 4 kids. It was never.
exactly.
Um, and also, I guess another side of it is the expense. Obviously, bodybuilding prep and competing is expensive.
Mm,
And 4 kids is very expensive.
yeah,
So I have to kind of budget carefully when I'm going to do a prep because, I don't want them to miss out on like, holiday or their clubs or whatever they're interested in
yeah.
so that I can continue, so I kind of got to balance my selfish needs and
Mm,
what they need as
yeah,
well. A bit.
yeah. That's good advice. I think just yeah, trying to get that balance because it is hard. What advice would you give to any, let's say, any new competitor who's got kids but is thinking of competing for the first time, or someone who has competed but now has kids? Like, yeah, what advice would you give to them to like navigate the whole thing?
Yeah. Um, I think try and involve them as much as possible and,
Mm,
use it as an opportunity to teach them what
mm,
you're doing. And I must say, I do cheat a bit in that I go to a David Lloyd gym.
right.
So it has child clubs. So I'll put them in a club
Yeah.
for 2 hours while I train. So they're there. So there's childcare there. So yeah, I can't say that I'm like juggling the childcare side of things that much.
Mm.
But also, Dad is a massive help, so he's on board, and I'm very respectful when I'm in an off season
Mhm.
of the load that he carried when I'm on prep. So I will kind of balance it out, or just just if you're leaning on your partner quite heavily, giving back sort of when you can.
Mm.
Um, yeah, I guess my advice would just be also I think and I did this when I was the first time, you can become a bit overly obsessed.
Yeah.
And when you're a bit obsessive, I think that's when it affects things a bit more. But
Mm.
now I'm at a stage where it's kind of a lifestyle. So
Hmm.
it doesn't impact things. It's not like, oh my God, I need to eat at this particular time. We need to
Mm.
be home in the next 20 minutes. I'm not as chaotic as I was when I first started. I think just put things into perspective, really, when you have family and children, that it's your choice. It's not their
Mm.
choice. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, take
Yeah.
responsibility for being prepared and don't stress them out of your own stress.
Yeah, no, that's great advice there, and I love what you said about getting them involved as well. I think, yeah, that really helps. I love doing that, like last year with my kids, and yeah, help them be a part of it. And yeah, it's are your kids showing any interest in like weight training or bodybuilding at all?
Yeah, my son is. Yeah. So he plays football. He's 7 going on 8.
Mm.
And yeah, he's interested, and they're always posing as well.
Yeah, it's funny,
Um,
isn't it? Yeah, it's the
yeah,
posing. My son is the same
yeah,
age, and he's a pretty good poser already. Actually, I'm quite
yeah,
impressed.
same.
Yeah,
Yeah. And my girls, they do like dance classes and stuff. They're really into dance, so they're always making up posing routines and stuff because they've obviously seen me
yeah, that's
doing
really cool.
routines. So yeah, it's quite nice to watch.
Yeah,
Um, but I do sometimes find like looking at their hamstrings. I'm like, oh, okay,
yeah.
she's got good potential. She'll be good, which is not great.
Yeah. That's funny. That's good. Um, yeah. That's great advice there. And I find, yeah, for me, it was the energy levels in prep, and I definitely want it next time. And I think it's a good
Yeah,
recommendation that, like, if yeah, I suppose when energy levels are good, because I think when you're in prep, it kind of fluctuates, doesn't it? You get good, you feel good, you feel bad. I think during the times you feel good, it's probably a
yeah,
good idea to capitalize on that to really, yeah, be the best version of yourself. That's what I'm going to try and do next time, whenever that is. Maybe next year, we'll see. But yeah, it's tough. It really is tough getting that balance. So you got into like bodybuilding quite late, Monique, didn't you? So can you tell us like a little bit about
yeah,
your journey to the stage and like what got you
yeah.
into lifting and then
Mm.
subsequently into bodybuilding?
Yeah, so it started off as weight loss, which then just kind of escalated into pretty much an eating disorder.
Hmm.
So during COVID, I didn't cope at all with the loss of control. I'm a massive control freak, and I just
Hmm.
felt like, exercising and starving myself was the only thing I could control.
Right.
So I dropped a lot of weight. I think I dropped 20 kilos in like 5 months.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so a lot of weight.
Yeah.
But then I didn't look very good.
Right.
I was like running for an hour and a half a day.
Hmm.
I was doing Shaun T Insanity. I don't know if you know what that is. It's
Yeah,
like
I
a
remember
hit
that. Yeah, yeah.
workout. I was doing that every single day. All of this on like 400 or 500 calories
Oh,
because I was doing
wow.
keto.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was pretty extreme and brutal regime. And then, I basically went to a bodybuilding gym, and my PT at the time was like, you need to eat carbs. You need to reintroduce carbs. This
Hmm.
isn't going to work with keto. And so basically, as soon as I started training with him
Hmm.
and eating carbs, I just felt great. I felt
Mm.
great. I loved the rush from training to failure. And bearing in mind, this might sound a bit like it's going off on a tangent, but it is relevant. I home birthed all my kids, so they were all born naturally.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of got addicted to that rush of just being in control of my body.
Mm.
And this it sounds a bit crazy, but just addicted to childbirth.
Right.
And training to failure kind of gave me that same rush that I got
Right.
when I was in labour. Very weird, but it's
Right.
just kind of how it
Interesting.
turns out. Yeah,
Mm.
I kind of got hooked on it. It kind of felt to me like a similar feeling. So then, yeah, after a couple of months, my PT was like, "Oh, well, I think you should try a show. There's like PCA Hampshire next summer."
Yeah.
So then, yeah,
Mm.
stuck at it, just kind of fell in love with the training first, really.
Yeah.
But it was a means to kind of control eating. It was so that I was almost training so I could allow myself to eat carbs.
Right, right. Okay. So it's very
If that makes
different to
sense.
where
That's
it
how it
ended up.
started.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of how it started. And then, so that would have been August, September 2020.
yeah.
And then I started prepping March 2021 for PCA Hampshire in June 2021.
Hmm.
So then did PCA Hampshire, just bikini, which I won.
Yeah.
And at this time, there hadn't been many shows because of COVID, right? So there wasn't
Mhm.
really much of a benchmark of what to look at. I wasn't really fully aware of there being a scene because there wasn't an active scene at that time.
Right.
Of all the so I was a bit naive. I was very, very naive about what competing was, about the reality of the sport. And so I've won it, and I'm like, oh wow, I've won this. I'm
Hmm.
great.
Yeah.
Um, and I also didn't realize how big of a deal the PCA British finals is. And also,
Right.
I didn't realize that everyone was assisted as well. I
Yeah.
didn't know that that was a thing. That was like not even something I considered. So
Yeah.
went to the British. I came fifth, but didn't get an invite to the Worlds, which I was
Hmm.
gutted about. Absolutely gutted. And that's when the penny dropped. Oh, okay, people use assistants. And not saying that that's why they beat me, but yeah, it just became clear that there were people using assistants. And
Yeah.
then my coach spoke about the NBF, and maybe next year we'll do PCA again, and we'll also try some of the natural bodybuilding federations.
Yeah.
Um, so I went into a short off season, I think 4 or 5 months, and then started prep again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. Cool. That's really interesting. Yeah, a couple of things. So, firstly, when did you first start like weight training at all? Out of curiosity.
that would have been so summer 2020.
Oh, so that really not long ago. Yeah. So that's
Yeah,
5 years.
yeah.
Wow.
And
Okay.
that would have been the first time I touched a weight.
Really.
Yeah, and actually did
Yeah.
a
Oh, that's amazing. Did you find you responded to weight training quite well?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I think also I had because I'd starved myself for so long and I'd done all of that HIIT training,
Mm.
I was already quite primed for growth. So as
Yeah.
soon as I ate the carb and started training, it just went
Yeah.
straight to the muscle.
Hmm.
I also had no IMAX, so I was already kind of, not to say starve yourself before you start getting into bodybuilding, but
Mm.
that kind of almost gave you a bit of a head start in a way.
Yeah.
I think that's quite common. Like former anorexics and stuff that get into bodybuilding tend to respond quite well
Yeah.
initially.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Out of interest, like, what was your like? Do you remember like your lowest body weight compared to like a stage weight for a comparison?
So my last season stage weight was 57 kilos,
Yeah.
and I think at my lowest I was maybe 49,
Okay.
50.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So a fair difference. Yeah. So you packed on quite a
yeah,
bit of muscle during that period
yeah,
then. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, and another thing as well, out of curiosity, you might not even know this, but the girls you were competing against, were they assisted or yeah, were they definitely assisted, do you think?
Um, at the British finals, yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Mm, yeah.
and I think, yeah, yeah, they are.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's fair enough.
They beat me, so they're assisted.
Mm,
No, they are. So
it makes
yeah,
sense because I know they do a natural show. They do the natural thing there as well, the
oh,
PCA.
yeah,
But I've heard conversations even at my gym and at other gyms where people who don't even look like they're on stuff, they talk about their use openly, and it's just crazy
yeah,
to me. I think it's really, and it's quite sad because a
yeah,
lot of them are quite young when they
yeah,
do it. And
yeah,
yeah, it's a real misconception that someone will look at a really impressive physique and assume gear, but they will also have no idea that people who are sometimes quite small and not very impressive are also using. So yeah,
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I'd love. It'd be interesting to know, sort of, because I don't really, I've never really understood or spoken to anyone that's used assistance to understand at such a young age how that decision's made. So someone who's
Mm,
like early mid 20s, especially for a female, it's quite a
mm,
big decision to make.
yeah.
Um, and I'd be interested to know kind of how someone comes to that
Mm,
sort of conclusion that would be a good idea.
mm,
Um, that being said, and this is, I guess, a thought process I've had to go through, which is, it's easy for me, and I don't mean this in an arrogant way, but to talk from in a way of position of privilege, in that I have pretty decent genetics, right? So as soon as I started training, I responded.
hmm.
As soon as I competed, I was rewarded. I've never really had to like battle or challenge whether this sport is for me,
Yeah.
or I've not had to fight to be in this sport, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Where I guess there's some people who might train and eat in the same way I do that won't ever look anything like me or get the same response.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then it's easy for me to judge them
Yeah.
because I've never had to make that decision.
Yeah.
So
That's an interesting one. Yeah. Yeah. Genetics is, yeah, it's a really interesting topic. I love discussing it. Yeah, it's funny because on the podcast I've had like some of those like genetically elite
mm,
people, but I've also had people with like less than elite genetics come on, but they've got the work ethic and just the passion to overcome that to a large
yeah,
degree. And it's it's interesting.
yeah,
Bodybuilding, it will select for that the most genetically elite, and yeah, those people will start
yeah,
lifting, and if they're of like a certain personality type, they'll fall in love with the process and then go really far. And yeah,
yeah,
even like with myself, my genetics are good. They're not amazing, but they're still definitely better than average. And
yeah,
yeah, I saw great results straight away, and I know that definitely it made the whole journey easier. When I was looking at my
yeah,
friends who were lifting weights and not much was happening, and I was blowing up, it definitely helped me kind of
yeah,
think, oh, this is I love this. It's easy, but I
yeah,
know it's not the case for everyone. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. And that's really, those are the people I find really inspiring. People that have stuck at it for 10 years, and they go off and they do 3, 4 years off season to grow.
Mm.
And that's what I find inspiring. By that, what I mean is someone who's genetically elite like myself. Is it really difficult? And I'm not undermining my achievements at
Mm.
all. It's not difficult for me to be motivated because
Yeah.
it's going to pay off for me, right? So I'm going to go and train. I'm going to stick to the diet because it will pay off
Yeah.
100%. I just know that. So, but there's people that are falling off the process and they have setbacks, they have
Mhm.
injuries,
Yeah.
things happen. But I'm quite resilient physically. So touch wood. I've never
Yeah.
had an
Yeah.
injury.
That makes sense. But despite having great genetics, you still need the work ethic. There are people with great genetics that don't go far because they don't have the right mindset.
Yeah,
So yeah, you still need to have
yeah.
that too.
You
So
do. And I
yeah,
guess you
definitely.
still need to have put in work blindly
Mm,
initially to know that you have
yeah,
good genetics. You don't just wake up and look in the mirror and be, oh my god, I've got good genetics. You have to have done some work
mm,
to have got to that point.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. So yeah, we chatted a little bit before this episode about like interesting talking points, of which there were, quite a
Yeah.
few. Social media being one of them. So yeah,
Mm.
I started training way back in 2001, so a really long time ago, before social media was a thing. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that kind of kept me quite grounded because when I post like a physique update now, I do it more for my own like personal records, and also
Yeah.
like, I'm a bit OCD, a bit crazy like that in routine, as like we
Yeah.
all are, I think. But there's definitely a trend of people, I think, competing for the wrong reasons, and you kind of
Yeah.
see it on stage sometimes where athletes they're not really enjoying themselves as much as they
Yeah.
perhaps should be. And I know kind of nerves is obviously a big part of that, but even on
Yeah.
social media, you get the impression that people are just training for the sake of, or just competing for social media.
Yeah.
What's interesting, so you don't do any of the kind of social media stuff, and it kind of reminds me of like Dorian Yates back in the day, like training
Yeah.
solitude, no drama, and then he would just rock up and just clean up at the shows. Um, you mentioned in our little chat that like social media
Yeah.
can be like a false feedback loop and it can limit
Definitely.
progress. Can you elaborate on
Oh,
that? Tell
definitely.
us some of your thoughts.
Yeah. Yeah. What I mean is, so for example, my coach has never ever said to me, wow, you look amazing. Ever. What he will say is something very specific. So he'll say, oh, your glutes are coming in, you're looking tight. It'll be a very objective feedback.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes on social media, because I was on there for a short period of time, you just get fire emojis under your picture from someone that doesn't even know anything about bodybuilding. And you might get 30 or 40 of those from people that don't know anything about bodybuilding. They don't know, they've never judged the show. Their feedback is irrelevant in my opinion. It's
Yeah.
support, not really feedback that you can do anything with. And I think a lot of people can put themselves under pressure once you put all of that kind of attention and all of. So that's one side of it. And then the other is it's not allowing you to look at your physique objectively and look at what needs improving if you're constantly getting this constant validation
Mm,
that you're kind of on the right path. So I have zero input from anyone apart from my coach. I don't listen to anybody at all about anything. I don't have a training partner. I don't train with anyone. I 100% trust him and the process. And I just found that when I was with another coach and when I was briefly on social media, if I posted something and someone didn't like it, or I'd be like, oh, or someone had looked at my story in, my Instagram story, I could see that they'd viewed it and not liked it, or not gone on to post and liked it.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, the fact that I'm even looking at who's looked at my story would show you how damaging social media can be.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it would kind of lower my mood,
Mm,
and then my focus moves away from progress and it's to how I'm being perceived, if
mm,
that makes sense. I think some people are fine on social media, but the way I am, and I think some people probably are quite similar to me, could be quite sensitive to how you're being perceived, whether people are liking your
mm.
stuff. Um, and also, I kind of I like, I don't really know what I look like until I see my stage pictures.
Yeah.
So I like kind of doing the work quietly, and then I get my stage shots. And oh, okay, this is the progress I've made in the last year and a half.
Mm,
But apart from my check-in, I don't really take pictures of myself or see what I look
okay.
like.
Yeah, interesting. Would you take a picture of yourself on your phone in like the off season just to see how progress is going and that kind of thing?
Only for a check-in.
Just for a check-in.
So I still have a coach in my off season.
Got it. Right, yeah.
So yeah, I'll do the
Yeah.
extra check-in.
There's definitely some lessons to be learned there because yeah, I think it's so easy to get sucked in, isn't it? I think and see all the positive comments and then yeah, and then you have this huge expectation. I think yeah, being off it completely, yeah, it has its real benefits. And you know you're doing it for the right reasons that way because
Yeah,
you're not doing
yeah,
it for anyone
exactly.
else, aren't you? So
Yeah.
yeah, that's really cool. Um yeah, no,
But then
that's
you know, on the flip side, there is a downside to it,
mhm.
as in I'm not really well connected in the bodybuilding industry. I don't have a huge amount of friends that do exactly, that compete. So that's the downside. You miss out on the community side, which is a huge part of it.
Mm,
Being part of the bodybuilding community. Which, but for me, the trade-off is worth it.
yeah.
You know, not having any noise.
Yeah, that makes sense. And yeah, I think you can still be involved, I suppose, can't you?
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Like
just
I go
in a
to,
different way. Like you were still helping out the BMBF and that, so yeah,
yeah,
it can still be done. Yeah, no, it's really interesting that. Um, and yeah, another interesting topic you mentioned was like your views on like natural shows versus like federations, and the difference between
yeah,
the two. So I've only ever competed with the BMBF, the UK DFPA, obviously the
yeah,
DFAC, and like the WMBF.
mm,
So they're really natural federations rather than shows, I guess. But yeah, what are the
yeah.
differences between the two?
Yeah, so you mentioned earlier, obviously PCA have PCA Naturals coming
Yeah.
out, and I think is it NPC Natural or Two Boss
Yeah.
Naturals, yeah, whatever it is, which are basically it's very different from a natural federation.
Right.
As you all know, with a natural federation, it's not just about whether you use assistance or not.
Hmm.
It's a community. We all have shared values. Um, it's when I go to a BNBF show, I always walk away kind of really inspired.
Yeah.
Vicky and the judges, they're invested in your journey because they see it as a long-term journey. So you get
Mm.
actual, real, meaningful feedback and direction
Hmm.
in your journey. And I feel, and I obviously I've not done a natural show, right? So this is just me speculating. Um, with the natural show, it's not the same. It's basically it's still an open federation,
Right.
but it's the only difference is you've got a level playing field.
Mm.
You can get a level playing field at the natural federations. I just don't get the motivation um, behind doing particularly NPC naturals
Hmm.
because you get your IFBB Pro card, right? That
Yeah.
means you can never compete with a natural federation again.
Yeah.
So you're going to be an IFBB Pro, and you're not going to have a level playing field because you're going to go up against assisted IFBB pros.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Um, I think there's one. I think is it Ben Reader's Naturals. There's one natural show in the States,
Right.
and I just think that by rushing to get that IFBB Pro card in
Hmm.
NPC Naturals, people might be cutting their journeys a bit short
Mm.
and taking a less scenic route. It's kind of like a fast track route,
Yeah.
and then you're kind of a bit stuck because
Yeah.
you're not competitive enough to stand up in an open lineup. Then why do you want that IFBB Pro card?
Mm.
If you want to stand up in that lineup, go and do the open shows. Would be
Hmm.
my view.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't get it. I don't see where it's going.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I
I
mean,
don't
there
think
are, yeah, I don't know much about those federations to be honest. I heard that there are more natural, not federations, but yeah, there are more natural parts like cropping up here and there, aren't there? But
yeah,
yeah, I don't know what the drug testing is like, if it's as stringent or if yeah, as well. So I
yeah,
know the BNBF are quite stringent with their drug testing and the WNBF as well. So I think on some of them it's only like 3 years drug free apparently and things like that. So
Yeah,
also
which is
not great.
yeah, it's not. It's
Mm.
defeats the point, really. It's yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm
In
inclined to
conclusion,
agree.
it's not for me.
What's that? Sorry.
In conclusion, it's not for me. If you ever see me on a NPC stage, it'll be an open lineup.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes
Upcoming one.
sense. So yeah, how's training going at the moment, Monique?
Yeah, good. So I'm training 5 days a week. I'm doing push, pull, legs, rest, upper, lower.
Hmm.
Um, my training's really boring.
Right,
I do
right.
the same thing. Same thing.
Mm.
I maybe change push and pull every other week. But apart from that, it's very, very consistent
Mm.
and boring. But that's kind of what I like actually.
Mm.
It works. It's working.
Yeah,
Um, so yeah, my training's going really well at the moment.
yeah. And do you stick to the same exercises like throughout the whole like year pretty much? How often would you
Yeah,
rotate a movement out?
yeah. No, throughout the whole off season,
Yeah.
and then all through prep, it's exactly the same. It doesn't change.
Mm.
Doesn't change at all.
Hmm.
And it can be boring.
Hmm.
But I just feel like I'm on autopilot now.
Yeah.
And as a result of that, I touch wood, haven't really been injured because my
Mm.
body just is used to the same movement. Now I
Yeah.
know some people say you should shock your body and change movement.
Mm.
Um, Maybe that is true, but doing the same boring thing works for me. It's
Yeah.
worth it, kind of thing. So
To be fair, if you look at most of the top people, they do just stick with the same movements, and they might not be the same. The movements that work for them, and like the movements
yeah,
that work for you. But yeah, I think chopping and change all the time. I mean, firstly, yeah, how can you gauge progress? It's really hard to gauge how
yeah.
you're doing,
I
and
mean, I
yeah,
use the same gym, and I do everything in the same order. I will literally wait if someone's on the machine.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
In fact, I think my naivety, in a way, is kind of a bit of a superpower because
Hmm.
I'm so scared to not follow the plan that I
Mm.
literally won't deviate from it because I'm just like I can't really think for myself. If that machine's not working, I don't know how to do an alternative, so I'm just gonna stand here awkwardly
Yeah,
and
yeah.
wait.
Ask how many sets you got left. Yeah,
Yeah,
conversation. I'm pretty much the same to be fair. Sometimes I'll do like calves before the other leg movements, but generally, yeah, things have an order. And I think most
yeah,
bodybuilders are like that, aren't they? They're so not necessarily rigid, but so routine, and that's why I think that's why we're drawn to the sport. Really, I think if you're a bit
yeah,
all over the place and a bit more kind of impulsive
yeah,
and impulsive
yeah,
by nature, you're not
pretty
going to
much.
do very well at bodybuilding. You need to have that
Yeah,
almost obsessive level of detail, I think, don't you? So it makes sense. Yeah.
yeah.
David Lloyd Gym, we spoke about this at the BNBF when we met. I've trained him on a few times. You quite like the gym there. How is it?
I do. Yeah, I mean, obviously, it doesn't compare to a bodybuilding gym at all. But I mainly train there because of the childcare element, and also sometimes if I'm working from home that day, I can do like a bit of work in the club room and stuff. I mean, their equipment is not the greatest,
Hmm.
but it forces me to train properly. As a
Mm.
result, I'm not getting any kind of there's no specialist equipment that can help me. My form has to be impeccable.
Yeah.
The equipment's so crap, but
Hmm.
yeah,
Mm.
I, I wouldn't champion it. I think to go to a
Yeah.
bodybuilding gym, but I didn't have much of a choice because
Yeah.
yeah,
Now they've got the childcare. Yeah, no, it makes sense.
yeah,
Plus they've got dumbbells and barbells, so yeah.
yeah. They have
So,
routines. They've got a Smith machine, got a seated leg curl. They've got everything I need. So yeah,
mm,
pretty much.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, I've trained in there in the David Lloyd a few times, one in us near us, and yeah, I've got by. I did a few on prep last year. Yeah, I think they're pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
What are your plans for the future, Minute? When do you think you'll be back on stage?
Definitely next year.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah, yeah.
Mm.
I don't like being in off season too long. So yeah, definitely I'll be back on stage next year. I don't know what stage though. I don't know. I guess PCA British finals probably. I'll
Hmm.
probably do that. Depending on where DFAC Worlds is,
Mm.
I might do that. And I mean, it'd be good if some of the other ladies, DFAC ladies that are pros, wanted to compete next year because then
Yeah.
maybe we could do Grand Prix at the British, but I think they need at least four of
Mm.
us.
Oh, right. I see. Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be cool,
so
wouldn't
if
it?
anyone's on prep next year, I'm
Yeah.
up for it. So just need three more to
Mm.
do that. And yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely going to compete. I just haven't figured out what shows.
Mm.
It depends on calendars and if there's a lineup.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, I think Zena said she
Yeah,
might be coming back next year, and she's a
yeah,
pro as well now. Going
yeah,
back
she
to
is. So
bodybuilding. Yeah.
she does, if there's two more, then maybe we could all do the BNBF British finals.
Yeah, yeah,
And
no,
not
that'd
have
be
to go
cool.
abroad and just compete.
Yeah. If you were to do, because you might be doing bodybuilding as well, would you have to go in as an amateur to do that?
I don't know. I need to clarify this with Vicky whether I'd need to do a qualifier as an amateur or if I could just. I definitely won't be able to do it as pro,
Mm.
but I don't know how it would work or if I could have a free pass to the British finals. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, it would be interesting to clarify because for me, my favourite part of bodybuilding, the reason why I do a prep in the first place is I just love performing. I love being on stage. I love the art
Mhm.
side of things. Um, and yeah, I'd really like, to showcase it
Mm.
in the bodybuilding category, which is kind of why, because that's another thing I think that I love about BNBF is that you're judged on your routine, you're
Yeah,
judged on your stage presence, and that art side, that performance side of bodybuilding, I think sometimes gets a bit lost in some
yeah,
other federations, and some categories as well, like bikini, for example, you don't really get to. Um, yeah, so I love that
yeah.
side of it.
No,
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah. Do you enjoy the whole posing element of bodybuilding?
yeah, I do. I like the putting together a routine,
Yeah, yeah.
the self-expression.
Mm.
It's like more than showing off hard work for me. It's kind of like expressing myself and kind
Mm.
of, like I don't go out partying or raving. It's like a rave
Yeah, yeah.
on stage for a minute. So yeah,
It
I like that
is.
kind
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It is self-expression. It's an art form, isn't it, really? It's a way
of
of,
it.
yeah, your the work, the piece of art, and then yeah, the stage is your canvas. Or I don't know, but it's definitely an art form.
Yeah, no,
100%
yeah,
agree with
yeah,
that. Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, you mentioned you don't see bodybuilding as a sacrifice at all. It's like a yeah, yeah. And I think yeah, you have to have that mindset. I think to be good at bodybuilding, definitely. Would you say
yeah,
your off season is quite similar to your competing? It's just obviously less food, and that's the only difference, really.
yeah. I literally eat the same meals. It's just the
Yeah.
quantity,
Mm.
and my training's the same. The only thing that changes on prep is I introduce cardio,
Yeah.
and yeah, the food goes down. But apart from that, it's pretty much the same.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And then in the off season, I get an off-plan meal once a week,
Yeah.
which, to be honest, I rarely use unless I'm going to a barbecue or birthday party or
Mm.
whatever. Um, but that's obviously because of my eating disorder background. So I'm
Okay.
quite disciplined and controlled with food
Mm.
in a way. So that's not necessarily a good thing though. But
Right.
I'm channeling it in a positive way by doing bodybuilding, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense. How far from like stage weight do you tend to stay in the off season?
So this is just so great. At the moment, I'm 5 kilos above stage weight. I need
Oh
to
wow.
gain a bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, so not I don't really get that big.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And you still feel like you still feel good at 5 kilos above?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And I have gained some muscle, so it's I am growing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
vision.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's great. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking, Malik? I don't think we touched on it.
I'm under 40, over 30.
Okay, yes, you don't have to clarify. Yeah, no, that's a good enough window. That's all I was after. Yeah, yeah. Hey, I know it's very rude to ask someone of their age, but yeah. Okay. So yeah, just out of curiosity, just I know you started late, but then the fact you've
Yeah,
only been training for 5 years, yeah, there's still plenty of room for growing,
there
isn't
is. Yeah, yeah, there is. But then, obviously, I am approaching 40, so you've got all those female hormonal changes that are coming, like menopause and stuff, and
there?
perimenopause, which isn't really spoken about much
Yeah.
in general, never mind in
Mm.
relation to bodybuilding.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and my family history, so we're hyperfertile. So my mum had twins, my aunt had twins, I had
Right.
twins.
I see.
Yeah, so without getting into the boring science of it, my ovarian reserves are probably going to run out sooner than most. So I probably will go into menopause earlier than most people.
Hmm.
So that's something I've got to think about, how that's going to impact things. Um, in the future, once my hormones start declining and have to circumvent that, etc.
Yeah, yeah. Touching
Some
on
of
that
them,
topic as it pertains to bodybuilding, yeah, because it's yeah. What are the implications of the menopause and bodybuilding generally?
yeah. So I can't speak from experience,
Experience, yeah,
but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
certain hormones like estrogen and progesterone, they drop,
Mhm.
and also testosterone, which obviously females you don't need a huge amount of that anyway. So some females use HRT,
Right.
which is allowed in natural bodybuilding federations, which I didn't realise until I was doing the urine test and
Hmm.
realised that actually is allowed.
Oh, I didn't
Uh,
know. Mm.
yeah, some federations ban it outright,
Yeah.
and like purists will say no, it's not natural bodybuilding.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's you at some point as a woman in your life you can elect to use HRT,
Mm.
manage the symptoms around menopause.
Yeah.
Um, I know that I don't want to suffer through menopause, so I'm already kind of monitoring my bloods and speaking to doctors that once things start changing, I will be taking action because
Yeah.
I've seen how horrible it can be for some women.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have 3 daughters. They'll be going through puberty. I don't want a
Mm.
household of me being a hormonal wreck, them being a hormonal wreck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone's going to have murdered.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great to be proactive about it and get in there early.
yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, I didn't
yeah.
know HRT was allowed. I presume TRT is not allowed in the men's. And I know it's very popular. TRT. I keep seeing adverts for TRT everywhere, and I think it's multifactorial why that's become so big at the moment. But yeah, I don't want to be
Yeah,
doing any of that. But it's different. It's different for men, obviously. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, I did think men goes crazy.
No, no, yeah,
Yeah. Not
yeah.
all women do. I'm just generalizing from experience with.
Got it. Yeah, yeah. Um, yeah. I think we've kind of covered most things, Monique. This has been a really fun chat. We're going to do some quick fire questions next. So, as I do with all my guests, what is your favorite film?
I don't really watch many films. Oh, this is Cruel Intentions.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Probably that's the last thing I can remember watching a few years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that film from back in the day. Yeah. I was like a teenage boy when that came out. Very popular amongst
Yeah, I can imagine it was quite
that
one of
cohort of people. Yeah. 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 Cool film. What are your hobbies outside of bodybuilding, Monique?
the. Oh, I do a lot of research on AI.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, so kind of part of my job. So
Oh, that's really interesting. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, very cool. I presume you use AI quite a bit then.
yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's I could bore you to death with my views on AI. I won't, but yeah, it's
I'd be very curious to
quite,
hear
quite
some of you.
passionate about. Like everyone's kind of about AI is going to take over, and it's not. We're so far behind from where everyone thinks we are. It's you know maybe 10 years away from it being meaningful, and
Right.
when it is, then it's gonna. We can't even imagine how much of an impact it's going to have. But
Mm.
for it to even get to that point is a lot further away
Hmm.
than I think people think.
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, it is a fascinating topic. I know very little about it, but I definitely use it quite a lot. And it's
Yeah,
amazing. To be fair, even in the past few years that it's been kind of mainstream, it's amazing to see how far it's come. Definitely.
yeah,
I remember seeing all
yeah,
the Will Smith memes where there's the videos of him eating pasta like a few years ago in the video generation of AI, and it looks so crude and primitive, and now it just looks like indistinguishable from real life. But
yeah,
yeah, I know it can go a lot further, obviously. But
yeah.
yeah, oh, that's really cool. Last question, Monique. What's the one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self?
Um, it would be you don't have to do so much to be worthy. So
Okay.
stop trying to be a high achiever and just be comfortable with mediocrity.
Yeah, yeah.
Sometimes, yeah, it would be, yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, this has been amazing, Monique. Thank you so much for joining me. Really
yeah,
enjoyed this chat. Yeah, hopefully we'll catch up again. There's some future shows. And
yeah.
yeah,
Will you be at the finals? Do you think?
it was in Scotland. That's a bit far, so I
Yeah,
don't. Yeah. because it was a Leatherhead Theatre last year, which was right around the corner again from me. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna say definitely not because it might be a little mini holiday, but
Yeah,
yeah. How about you? Will you be going? Do you think?
yeah, I'll be going up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thank you, Monique, for joining me. It's been a lot of fun, and yeah, thank you guys for watching and for listening, and we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Brilliant. Thanks, Anthony. Bye.